What's going on, our Sports Nation? Welcome back to another live stream. And today we are going to be grading every single trade of NBA deadline week. Got TSR Sports in the chat and Nathan Kohler. What is going on? What's going on, Clemson Fan 1? Hawks, yeah, A+. The Hawks were very dormant. I don't know how long this stream's going to be. I'd say just as long as it takes me to get through these trades, most likely. We're going to start with this one. The Trailblazers and the Pelicans. And this is the CJ McCollum trade. So as you can see, the Pelicans got CJ McCollum, Larry Nance Jr., Tony Snell. And the Blazers got Josh Hart, NAW, Thomas Satoransky, Didi Louzada, and a first-round pick in 2022, a protected first-round pick, and 2 second-round picks, one in 2026 and one in 2027. Now, I think this is a total win for the Pelicans. I'd probably say an A trade for the Pelicans because while they did give up a lot, I do think they still won this trade handily. The Blazers were just blowing everything up. The Blazers are just clearing cap space, completely starting over. I'd say probably a C for the Blazers, in my opinion. C minus, C plus, somewhere in the C range, because while they got rid of CJ McCollum, they freed up a ton of cap space for them to work with this offseason to sign somebody to pair with Damian Lillard. I think it has its pros and cons for both, actually not really for the Pelicans, but definitely has its pros for the Blazers and definitely its cons. So I'd say probably an A for the Pelicans and probably a C for the Blazers. Let's see the next one up. Ooh, this one. Now this one, this is going to be an interesting one. Okay. This one, we got the Kings and the Pacers trade that threw the whole league for a wild loop. I don't think anyone expected this type of blockbuster to happen. But the Pacers and the Kings get a trade surrounded around Domantas Sabonis and Tyrese Halliburton. But the Pacers get Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson. And the Kings get Domantas Sabonis, Justin Holiday, Jeremy Lamb, and a 2023 second-round pick. So for this one's tough because I think both sides win. But I don't like the Kings giving up Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield. That just makes me really nervous because I think Tyrese Halliburton was their guy for the future, which is I think the Kings gave up on him way too early. I think trading for Sabonis is very risky considering all of this talent that they gave up with Buddy Hield and Tyrese Halliburton. But still getting Domantas Sabonis, Justin Holiday, and Jeremy Lamb in return is not too shabby. I would say the Pacers win this trade. I'd say an A for the Pacers, probably a B minus for the Kings. Maybe a B. Because while they got rid of Halliburton and Buddy Hield, they still got Sabonis in return. So I'd say A for the Pacers, B for the Kings. Because Tyrese Halliburton, probably one of the most underrated players in the NBA. I did not expect the Kings to move Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, that's like the Hornets moving LaMelo Ball. Like, no one would expect that. So this trade, I believe, just threw everyone for a loop. No one expected this one whatsoever. It was just very out of the blue. I mean, like I said, it's like the Hornets moving LaMelo Ball, or I'm trying to think, like the Suns moving DeAndre Ayton. I mean, it's very shocking indeed. Let's move on to the next one. So like I said, A for the Pacers, B for the Kings. Next we have, this is just a small one. I won't spend that much time on it. But the Heat trade KZ Okpala. I don't know much about this, but I will do my best to grade this as I can. The Heat get to a 2026 second round pick, and the Thunder get KZ Okpala. And it also says an additional agreement. The 2023 first round pick already owed to Oklahoma City from Miami has been amended to a 2025 first round pick, 1 to 14 spots protected, and if not conveyed to a 2026 unprotected pick. Now that puts a whole new light on things. I didn't know about this additional agreement. This is very interesting. I don't know. This seems to be good for Oklahoma City, in my opinion, because while giving up a 2026 second round pick, that's not much of a big deal considering it's like 4 years away and it's only second round. I would say the Thunder win this one. I'd probably say about a B trade for the Thunder and a C for the Heat, because Thunder probably just trying to get more bodies and more depth on the roster. So I like this trade for the Thunder. Indeed. This one is interesting as well. This one, TSR Sports, if you're still in the chat, this one involved your San Antonio Spurs. The Jazz acquired Nickeil Alexander-Walker in a 3-team trade, which involved the Jazz, the Blazers, and the Spurs. The Jazz got Nickeil Alexander-Walker via Portland and Juancho Hernangomez via San Antonio. The Blazers get Joe Ingles via the Jazz, Elijah Hughes via the Jazz, and a second-round pick via the Jazz. And the Spurs get Thomas Satoransky and a second-round pick from the Jazz, and Satoransky was from Portland. I got to be honest, I didn't even know he was with Portland. But this trade for the Jazz, I would give... I mean, I know Ingles got hurt, I believe, but I wouldn't give him up. Then again, they got Nickeil Alexander in return. He's very talented. Yeah, I agree, TSR Sports. I would give the Spurs a B. I think that's pretty profitable for the Spurs considering they only gave up Hernangomez. The Spurs would get a B. I'd say the Blazers get a B+. And the Jazz probably as well get a B+. So I'll say B+, B+, and a B. Moving on. Next one is the Magic and the Celtics. This one, wow, I didn't really see this one. I didn't really realize it happened. But the Magic get Bol, PJ Dozier, both via Boston, and a future second-round pick via Boston, as well as cash from Boston. And the Celtics the Celtics get a 2023 second-round pick via the Magic. I mean, this is very profitable for the Magic. If they can actually get Bol and Dozier minutes, which Bol should be getting minutes, the Nuggets just didn't have a reason to play him. But I believe this is very good for the Magic. I give them probably a B plus, maybe an A minus. And Celtics, I mean, I don't really like this for the Celtics at all. I'd probably give them a C or a C minus. I don't really get this one for the Celtics whatsoever. So let's move on to the next one. I believe this also involves TSR Sports' San Antonio Spurs. Yes, it is. This was the big one for the Spurs. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, TSR, I think they're going to try to buy out Dragic. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I thought I read something about Goran Dragic being supposed to be bought out, but I also am not 100% certain on that. Anyways, this is the Raptors and the Spurs. The Raptors get Thaddeus Young, Drew Eubanks, and a 2022 second-round pick. And the Spurs get Goran Dragic and a 2022 first-round pick. Now, I don't know if they're going to buy out Dragic or not, but assuming they're not and Dragic is actually going to play for the Spurs, I would say the Spurs win this trade because along they got a first-round pick as well. Assuming that Goran Dragic will actually be playing. Okay, so TSR Sports said Spurs. Let me look at my chat. Spurs, he said Spurs A+, Raptors B-, buyout, Drew already cut by Toronto. Okay. So yeah, I'll give the Spurs an A in that range. They get a first-round pick and only having to give up Eubanks, Young, and a second-round pick. So yeah, I'd say probably Spurs A, Raptors B, somewhere in that range. Next one, we have a very small trade, but of course I'm grading every single trade from deadline week, so we're going to go over it anyway. The Suns and the Wizards. The Suns get Aaron Holiday, and the Wizards just get cash. I would say the Suns win this just because I would always take a player over cash, assuming that it's what the cash is. I assume it's not very much, but I would give the Suns probably a B and a Wizards a C. And Nathan, let me read the chat. Nathan Kohler says, I heard the Mavs are going after Dragic after his contract is bought out. Yeah, I believe they are. I believe several teams are going to go after Dragic in the offseason once his contract situation is figured out. Someone tell me in the comments how much his buyout would be, because I'm not entirely sure on that. Next, we have Tori Craig's return to Phoenix. The Suns get Tori Craig and money, and the Pacers get Jalen Smith and a 2022 second-round pick. I mean, Tori Craig's a very solid player. I'd probably give the win here to the Suns. Look at this. The Suns just make the NBA Finals, and they're still making moves to try to get better. Travis, our GM, did absolutely nothing. Not a single small trade for cash, nothing. Not a single thing. I'm still mad about that. But, I would say Suns get a B, Pacers, I'd say they also get a B. I like this trade for both teams. Next, we have the Hornets acquiring Montrezl Harrell from the Wizards. I mean, this is an absolute win for the Hornets in my book. Montrezl Harrell is a very solid big man, and the Hornets definitely need more of those. Karam says the Lakers did nothing too. Yeah, which shocked me. The Lakers, the Knicks, and the Hawks, three teams that are under 500 and underperforming, are the ones that do nothing. That makes no sense. And let me read this comment from TSR Sports. He said, no set amount for a buyout. The team and player agree to a money amount. Goran, 19 mil this year, but more than halfway through the season. So a $5 to $6 million buyout. That would make sense. But I can't. Dragic, I didn't know he was making that much. I didn't know he was making near 20 million this year. So yeah, I would assume more than halfway through, it'd be a couple million for the buyout. So I would assume that would work out. But anyways, back to Montrezl Harrell to the Hornets. I mean, this is very profitable for the Hornets. The Hornets are kind of weak when it comes to big men. Montrezl Harrell is an aggressive big man that will grab rebounds for the Hornets, play cleanup crew, and the Wizards get Vernon Carey Jr., Ish Smith, and a 2023 second. I would give the Hornets an A. I really like this trade for them. I give the Wizards probably a B or a C. I think the Hornets win this trade. Next, we have... this is one of the... this is a 4-team trade. I thought this was a 3-team, but this is a 4-team trade. This one's going to take a lot of breaking down, so bear with me on this one. So the Bucks get Serge Ibaka in the 4-team trade. That's the headline. This 4-team trade involves the Bucks, the Clippers, the Kings, and the Pistons. So the Bucks get Serge Ibaka, 2 second-round picks, 1 via Sacramento, 1 via Detroit, and cash considerations from the Clippers. Even the Bucks, they were NBA Finals. They won the whole thing, and they're still making moves. This makes no sense. Anyways, Clippers get Rodney Hood, Semi Ojeleye, and Vanja Marinkovic via Sacramento. Both of those players right here, Hood and Ojeleye, both via Milwaukee. What's going on, Ethan? He says Celtics and Spurs lived on the trade block. That is a fact. They were very active for sure. The Kings, I didn't realize how much of a haul the Kings got here. My goodness. The Kings got Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Jackson from Detroit, Trey Lyles from Detroit, David Michanu from the Clippers, and a second-round pick from Detroit. I didn't realize how much the Kings did. I didn't realize they got this much from this trade. It's a very good trade for them. And next we have the Pistons. They got Marvin Bagley, former, I believe he was a top 5 pick a few years back, and he's just not been able to cash in on that successful pro career whatsoever. He's been very disappointing. He's had a very disappointing NBA career. I believe I'm almost to that Sixers next trade. That will probably be the very last thing I do. But if you don't want to wait, I have a video up on that trade that goes way more in depth. It's about a 4-minute video, I believe. So you can go watch that one if you don't feel like waiting for me to get to that. Actually, I made a video on several of these trades. The Sixers next one I made a video on, and the Dennis Schroeder trade I made a video on. But anyways, back to this. I think the Bucks get a B. Clippers get a B. I will give the Kings an A here, and I'll give the Pistons a B. So I think this is a very good trade for all 4 of these teams. I think all the teams involved were profitable in this market. Nathan Kohler says he was the 2nd overall pick. I can't remember what year he was. Let me look that up real quick. Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley was the 2nd overall pick in 2018. Yeah, 2018. That was the year with Luka and Trey. So all these players that the Kings missed out on. They missed out on DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton went first. So anyone after the second, they missed out on. They missed out on Luka. They missed out on Jaren Jackson Jr. They missed out on Trae Young, Wendell Carter Jr., Colin Sexton, Mikal Bridges, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Miles Bridges, Michael Porter Jr., Dante DiVincenzo, Lonnie Walker, Kevin Huerter, Josh Okogie, Grayson Allen, Aaron Holiday, Anthony Simons, Mo Wagner, Landry Shamet, Robert Williams. I didn't realize how stacked this draft was. My goodness. Jalen Brunson, Devontae Graham, Gary Trent. This was a very stacked trade. My goodness. KBD, Shake Milton. There was just so many that they could have gotten as opposed to Marvin Bagley. It's just very, very unfortunate how much they missed out on that. And next, we have next trade. This one I thought was strange, but the Celtics get Daniel Tice. This was between the Celtics and the Rockets. The Celtics got Daniel Tice, and the Rockets got Dennis Schroeder, Enes Freedom, Bruno Fernando, which they immediately waived Enes Freedom after the trade, by the way. So they really just got Dennis Schroeder and Bruno Fernando. I don't envision that Schroeder is going to stay there very long. I'm not sure what his contract details are, but if he's set to hit free agency, he won't sign or won't re-sign with the Rockets. But I didn't really see the point of this trade. I don't know why the Celtics got rid of him for just Daniel Tice. Throws me for a loop. I mean, Enes Freedom got immediately waived. Bruno Fernando, he's just a bench player that would come in if you're up 30. So this is practically just a swap Schroeder for Tice. I mean, I don't really get it. I don't know if I'm the only one or what, but this trade I didn't really understand when I saw it whatsoever. And the next trade, we have none other than the Celtics and the Spurs. Probably the two most trade-active teams this deadline. And this was a big one. Derek White, the Celtics and the Spurs. The Celtics get Derek White. The Spurs do get a haul. They get Josh Richardson, Romeo Langford, a 2022 first-round pick protected, and a 2028 first-round pick swap. This is very good for the Celtics, but also really good for the Spurs. I don't know. This one's tough. Richardson and Langford are solid players, but I don't know. This one is interesting. I'd probably give the Celtics an A, but I'm trying to think of what I should give the Spurs. I'd probably give the Spurs a B+ here because I think the Celtics win this trade, but I'll still give You think the Spurs got an A+ TSR? I don't know. I think the Celtics win this trade. I know they gave up 2 firsts, but I don't know. In my opinion, I think the Celtics get an A, Spurs get a B+. And the next one, which also threw me for a loop. This was a last-second one, I believe. I believe this one was like the last 10 minutes of the trade deadline, I believe. You said Derek has been very up and down this year. Well, you know more about Derek White than I do. I just thought that he was having a good year. Let me look up his stats for this year. Thought he was having a good year, but maybe I was wrong. Spurs have 3 first-round picks this draft. Yeah, I believe the Hawks do too. Let me look at his stats this year. Derek White. So this year, 2021-2022, for the Spurs, he played 49 games, averaged 14 points, and a block, 5.6 assists, 3.5 rebounds. I mean, if you look at his previous years, they're about the same. But maybe you're just using the eye test. But yeah, previous years, 14 points, 15 points, 11 points per game. So I still think he'll be solid for the Celtics. This trade, I was a victim of misinformation here. Look at the field goal and 3-point percentage. That's a good point. I forgot to look at that. I have to look at percentage. Let me go back and look at that. Let's see here. Okay. 3-point percentage. I mean, it's not significantly worse. It's significantly worse from 2020 to now because he is in decreasing at least 3-point percentage wise. Just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, back to it. Anyway, back to it. Derek White, 3-point percentage in 2020 is .346. And then this year, .317. So yeah, that is significantly less. But his field goal percentage overall has went up since then. 3-point percentage has been significantly worse for sure. But field goal percentage has gotten better. His field goal percentage in 2020 was .41, and this year it's .426. So that's been better. 3-point percentage, you're right, in that column, he's definitely worse. Okay. This one. I was a victim of misinformation here because at first, all that was reported was that it was just Kristaps for Spencer Dinwiddie. And I knew that couldn't be right. So at first, it was just Porzingis for Dinwiddie, which confused me very much. Hang on, give me 1 second. Okay, so yeah, I just saw at first it was just Porzingis for Dinwiddie, which all that was reported, and then it came out that it was Bertans as well, which made a lot more sense. Because at first I was very confused. Even here, I'm still confused. I thought Kristaps was very solid and a good partner for Luka. But now Luka's going to have Spencer Dinwiddie and Bertans by his side. So maybe that'll be profitable. Maybe it won't be. Yeah, the salaries did not match up at all. And plus, just Porzingis heads up for Dinwiddie just didn't make any sense. Just as an NBA fan, just with the eye test. But the Mavericks getting Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans isn't the worst thing in the world. And the Wizards get Kristaps and a 2022 second. Yeah, I believe this is the last one. Okay, so this one's incorrect because it also involves the Sixers getting Paul Millsap, but I think we know that by now, so I'll just say that while I'm talking about the trade. So this one, I think, is an absolute next victory. I just realized I did not grade the last trade. I just talked about who won the trade. Let me grade this one. I would give the Mavericks a B and Wizards an A, in my opinion. Okay, back to this one. Biggest trade of the week for sure right here. The Sixers get James Harden and Paul Millsap. And the Nets get a haul, Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, a 2022 first-round pick, and a 2027 first-round pick. Oh, man. The Sixers with James Harden is going to be interesting. But I believe wholeheartedly the Nets win this trade handily with how much they got in return. I think that the Sixers gave up way too much for James Harden, in my opinion. So I would give the Sixers, I would give, the Nets an A+ for sure, and the Sixers probably like a C or a C+, B-, somewhere in that range. Probably more in the range of a C+. Let me read some comments. TSR Sports says the Nets fleece the Sixers. Nets get an A+, 76ers D. Karam says some people saying KP wasn't a good one, and some of them are. I don't know. I feel that one is either you love it or you don't. There's no in between for that one. Yep, this was for sure the biggest trade of the week. I mean, I don't know why the Sixers did this, to be honest. I mean, I guess I could see it if it was just Ben Simmons and maybe Drummond in those two first, but giving up Seth Curry is the part for me that just really gives the Nets the win here. Because for the Nets, your starting five is going to be Kyrie Irving, once they straighten everything out, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Seth Curry, Ben Simmons, and whoever your five is. That was in no particular order, by the way, but some combination of those, I mean, that just sounds lethal. But the Sixers are also going to have James Harden, Tobias Harris, Embiid. They're also going to have a very dangerous lineup as well. So it's hard to tell for this one. But yeah, Nets A+, Sixers probably C+, B-. All right, we have gone through all the trades. Hawks didn't do a dang thing since we traded Cam Reddish, which is way down here. About mid-January was when we did that. And we did this one where the Hawks got Kevin Knox. He never plays, by the way, and a protected first-round pick. And the Knicks got Cam Reddish, Solomon Hill, and a 2025 second. Although the Knicks never play Cam Reddish, so it's not the worst thing in the world. You did get a first. But anyways, that's about it for this stream, guys. My Saturday night sports movie review is going to premiere tonight at 9 o'clock. If you guys want to go ahead and go in there, drop a comment and a like, I would appreciate it. That's tonight at 9. I'm doing The Sandlot. Should be fun, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.